The meeting is being recorded.
Thank you. I use it all the time, Mark.
Arts Commission meeting of Tuesday, November 21st. We're meeting in the Old Town Hall, second floor conference room. With that, I'll turn things over to our chairman.
Thank you. 6:02, we're going to call the meeting to order. We start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and
to the republic for which it stands,
one
one
nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everybody.
Yep.
Okay. Mark, you want to introduce us to our speaker, or do you want to, we can do introductions for her.
Sure.
So my name's Charlie. I'm the chairman of the committee.
I'm Lou Human. I'm the secretary. Hello.
I'm Connor Dean, I'm the vice chair.
Kevin Goslin, just a member.
Oh, come on.
I'm Sam Goldstein. I'm a thorn in their side.
Oh, anyway.
It's too early to be a thorn in our side yet.
Yeah.
Rista, thank you. Rista Malanka is formerly the director of economic development in Torrington. She's now the director of community economic development for Council of Governments, correct?
Yep.
And just recently made the move. So she is, we're happy to have her with us because she can talk a little bit about the experience for the city of Torrington as they create an arts and cultural district. They have a commission. I think you've visited their website.
Yeah, I
before,
have.
taken a look at it. So doing great things up there in the northwest corner. So I don't know if you want to dispense with the minutes, or do you want me to just introduce Rista and let her go from there and we can do the
Let's
rest.
go with her and then go back and do the minutes after that.
So Rista, it's all you.
Sure. So, I'll just give you a quick overview and then really, answer any questions or, if it's something you want me to elaborate on, I'm happy to do so. So in Torrington, we are pretty fortunate that we have a lot of arts and cultural organizations very close to each other. Sounds kind of like similar to what Fairfield already has. You already have like the roots of it started. And I'd like to say that for years, we were all in the same boat, but we were rowing in different directions. And then by forming the cultural district, and now that we have one, it's kind of helped us just kind of all row in the same direction. And so it really even started in building the application for the cultural district, identifying who the key partners were and what, some of the asset mapping that they kind of did, and they started to build relationships and work together. So that was really good. We were, Roxbury was the first to, Roxbury was the first to get the designation. We were the second, but we were the first to do the walkthrough. So we were kind of like, oh, what does that walkthrough look like? And basically, if you get to that point in the application, you're on the right track and you're going to get your designation. They just may have a couple edits for you, like SHPO was part of the walk, and we didn't think one building should have been in the cultural district, but it was in the historic district, so they wanted us to extend the borders a little bit. So it was little minor things like that, but altogether the walk was really informative. And one of the things that we did that I would recommend, because it was kind of cool, we picked our path that we were walking. And as we started talking with Liz and the rest of the team that she brought, we stopped at various cultural districts and we picked up people along the way. So by the time we got to the end where we were having like our video and our like sit down kind of answer, we had, the whole board kind of with us. And it just started off with just a few of us. So that was kind of impressive. And she really did like that and got to see a lot of different places.
So
and then
walkthrough was part of was with the Office of the Arts, with the State Historic Preservation Office.
Yeah, but she brought like a team of 4 or 5 people from DCD from various different departments. SHPO was one of them, a couple from the arts. And I think that was pretty much those 2 offices. But there was like 3 or 4 of them that came.
Yeah, I'm surprised it's a physical walkthrough.
Yeah.
Of the borders of the arts district.
Yeah, so you'll submit your application, And once they review it, they'll give you you won't get your official approval yet, but they'll give you a call to schedule a walkthrough. And then you can really make that walkthrough what you want it to be. You know, we did the walkthrough. Like I said, we picked up people along the way. We ended up at our Torrington Savings Bank, which has a beautiful executive boardroom that overlooks the whole cultural district. It has like 360 windows. So we ended up there, and we had a video with a couple commercials that we built and just some highlights of things that, you know, events and different things that she couldn't see on our walkthrough because they were, you know, not occurring at the time. And then they had a bunch of questions and they had some feedback for us, and we went back and made our changes and then got the official approval.
Did that precede there's a public meeting component of that too? Is that before?
That's the very last thing you'll do. So part of the application, you'll have to show that you had a public comment meeting. And what we did is, you know, the city hosted the meeting, but the executive director of the Warner actually led it. So it was kind of cool for the public to start to hear from the different arts organizations. And we had somebody from Kids Play give a little bit of a talk too. So it wasn't a traditional city public meeting. You know, it was hosted with the city. We posted it like we normally do public meetings. We held it on our Zoom account, you know, all of that kind of logistical stuff. But the meeting itself was run by members of the board. So I thought that was pretty good too. And it was received very well. And so the other thing that I think is important to note is, you know, once we got our official designation, everybody was like, okay, we got our designation. Now we need money. It's like, well, okay, but there's a lot of things that you can do as a board without money, you know, and no, just, you know, I know for myself, and we've seen this true in Torrington, being designated a cultural district is really a term and a message that you're giving to visitors, that this is an area that's going to have, you know, multiple things to do, multiple places to visit. As a visitor, you come and you don't know where the boundaries are, you know, just kind of like, I know I went to Rhode Island, my boyfriend and I took a little trip and we saw a sign, oh, historic downtown. We said, oh, well, let's go check that out. It's probably going to be walkable, restaurant or two. You know, when we got there, we didn't know, oh, we're leaving the historic district. And we found other things to do in the area too. So, you know, just being designated a cultural district and branding yourself and promoting it will help the entire city, not just the cultural district, because people will come, and when they come, they'll like it, and then they'll, you know, explore other areas too. They won't say, oh, well, we've reached the border, time to go home. So it does really lift the whole city and all the arts and cultures throughout the city. We found that to be true. And it's also driven traffic to our It's Happening Here website, which promotes all of our businesses. So, you know, that didn't cost money. That was the only things we're doing. It's just that, you know, that name, that brand kind of gives a visitor who is not familiar with your city an idea that this is, you know, something that they might want to go visit. The other thing too is that I've, you know, told my committee is, you know, to be an advocate, like for, you know, things that the district may need, and start to advocate and get everybody on the same page to advocate for the same thing. So now when you're asking the city for an initiative or for support, or you're, you know, looking for donations or whatever it is you're doing, you're all one voice. You know, you're not hearing a bunch of different messages or different things from different ways. And that's also been very helpful. Our cultural district pulled together a Halloween hoopla 2 years in a row now. The first year we thought was pretty successful. We had, you know, about half our businesses on Main Street stayed open late and handed out candy to trick-or-treaters. We had about 500 trick-or-treaters. This year, which was the second year, every single business was open. The businesses on the second floor set up tables on the sidewalk to hand out candy. They closed Main Street and we had almost 2,000 trick-or-treaters come. It was amazing, and so we, the cultural district supported the businesses by providing some extra candy. But really what it was the promotion of it. They put it together, come downtown, come to the cultural district and visit us, and just promoted it that way. And then people did.
And I'm sorry, who was promoting it?
It was the cultural district.
Okay, so it's all these people getting together on the cultural district supporting the promotion.
Yep.
Okay, and then who designed what the promotion's going to say and where's it going to go and all that?
They did all of that.
Okay.
They have a subcommittee that worked on
A
just that.
subcommittee, right? Okay, got it.
Yeah,
Okay,
they
cool.
had a subcommittee that just, really spearheaded that and worked on all those details, and it was really successful. They did a Thursday night out. And again, they just promoted it as, so our cultural district is our downtown. So they said, come to downtown Torrington on Thursday night. And then they, did press releases and, put it on our website, and then they all shared it on their social media pages, and they created a graphic that had all of the businesses there. So those were a lot of things that they did that were really impactful that didn't cost anything. And then they started to come up with some plans and some, budgets that they wanted to implement, and then talk to us. And we've been able to help fund some of those things. But, it wasn't, okay, we're a district, here's a blank check, go spend it. It was here, district, start acting like a district, start talking with each other, start collaborating with each other. And just in that, they really have seen a lot of growth.
I'd like to ask about before you got your cultural designation, who initiated, who started it? How long did the process take? Who led it? I'd like to hear if you could speak to that a little bit, the process before the walkthrough, because that's sort of where we are now. I'd love to know how that unfolded for you.
So we, so there was some talk, when the legislation first passed, a couple people came to my office. I said, that's great, but I felt that it had to be more grassroots than top down. It wasn't something that I said, the city is fully supportive of it, but this is really something that the organizations themselves have to have buy-in to. And they heard that and they ran with it. And, we had an amazing executive director at the Warner Theater who ended up being chair. He did a lot. Our executive director at our Arts Council. So the Arts Council, the Warner, the Kids Play Museum, 5 Points Gallery, and then our Nutmeg Conservatory, those 5 executive directors kind of got together and said, this is something we really want to make happen. And they, had meetings, and they kind of gave me this is where we think our boundary should be. This is kind of why we want it. And we, just supported them along the way to do it, and helped them put together the application, but they provided a lot of the information that we needed to do that.
Okay.
And actually, it's really important to get your Arts Council involved, because you don't submit the application directly to the state. You submit the application to the Arts Council, and they submit it to the state.
But we are the Arts Commission.
The regional, you're talking about.
The regional?
Oh, yep. So there's
Maybe
different councils for,
Not anymore.
yeah.
America Wesley's group.
Oh, so the Cultural Alliance,
This is
you
our,
submit it to Cultural Alliance.
Yeah.
And then they show it to DECD?
something like that.
Is that
Yeah.
right?
A lot, if it's the same, and I don't believe it's changed, that's the way that it goes. So you do
Okay.
need to make sure that you have them on board, and so we have maybe quarterly, maybe not quite that often, meetings with the 5 existing cultural districts and people from the state, and also all of the arts councils, the regional ones, attend these meetings. And they've been really helpful. We've all had some of the same struggles, we've all had some of the same successes, and we've shared information. But I say that because all of the arts councils are very familiar with this, and they know what it takes and what they're involved. So if you want to, if you haven't already, I would bring them into the conversation sooner rather than later. And in our case, Steph Burr, the executive director, was an amazing resource. She helped us. She kind of walked us right through the whole process. She was really good at that.
The executive director of what? Of your arts council?
Yeah. The
The
regional art. Yeah.
So-
So you might have an alliance. Ours is
It's
Northwest.
not there anymore,
Erica.
It's Eric.
so we have to meet there.
Okay,
And then there's actually no application form. The application is a series of documents kind of put together. So have you seen that?
Yes.
Yeah, so, it's just about, pulling all that together and compiling all that information. So as part of our public input, we did it virtually. We did a Zoom meeting. And as part of that, we kind of put together the pieces we needed for the application. So what are the assets? What are the, we put together all of our public art that we have, and we showed it in the presentation. And so it was really easy for us, once we went to make the application, we just had it on the presentation and just kind of labeled it different.
when you say presentation, you mean you made a PowerPoint that you then shared with your regional arts council?
No, with the public.
So you did that before, because earlier you said the public forum happened after.
All right, sorry, I don't want to confuse you. So part of the application requires that you have city council or selectmen or whatever it is approval, and that you've also had significant public outreach.
Yeah, that's what.
And so our public outreach was a Zoom meeting that we did. And we, listed, and we had a presentation, and, we highlighted that. After you submit your application, the state, before they give their final approval, wants to come out and see the district and have a tour of it. Now, they give you an hour, and I'm sure that you're not going to be able to walk through your whole district in an hour. None of us have been. So we picked a route that we walked them on that hit, all the highlights of the people we wanted to be on our board. Because as you know, 50% of the board has to be made up of people who live or work in the district. And so we hit on the people that are on the board within the district. And we kind of started out one place, and then they joined us, and then they kind of kept joining us along the way. So by the time we got to the end, where we gave a little video and another little different PowerPoint, we had the whole board with us.
Okay,
So, and like I said, our video was short and sweet, but it did highlight some of the videos we had for the events that happened downtown, and some of the highlights that we just weren't able to get through on the walk.
Is there anything that you would do differently through that process? Things that we should maybe learn from and avoid?
I don't know that we would do anything differently, but I think the biggest thing that we did was we were as inclusive as we could be, so we included anybody and everybody who wanted to be. We had a daycare who was just on the border of where we thought the cultural district was. And she heard about us doing this, through the public process. And she called up and said, listen, we want to get a sculpture in our front yard. We would love to be part of the cultural district. We support the cultures, we support the arts. Even though we're not an arts organization, can we be part of this? We said, yep, absolutely. So we extended the borders a little bit to her.
Ask about like people on the border, it's like when you redistrict a school, it's like one street, people are like, wait, what, why wouldn't we be, like, was there any challenges there? It could be flexible.
Yeah, we were very flexible. We tried to use, originally we used the railroad, we used the river, and then we kind of looked at those boundaries and said, okay, what makes sense to be in here and out of here. SHPO wanted us to expand it a little bit more to include all of the historic districts. We've had a couple people say, hey, can you include my property? The one thing I would suggest, so we came up with this great boundary and border, and it looked good on a map. And then we, thank goodness, we had our GIS person kind of take that shape and to put it on one of the maps or something we had. and the shape was really phallic. It did not look very good at all. And so we're like, okay, well, we have to like just extend that line a little bit more. We have to, so just look at the shape. Um, But
Easy to consider.
Yeah.
Krista, did you finish your thought on the nursery or the daycare where you extend?
so
the
we
bound-
included them. Yeah, we definitely included them. They were so happy, and they ended up getting a big sculpture there, and
Well, that's why, because they had a piece of public art on their property, so that's why they were allowed. That's
well,
why.
they didn't have the public art when they originally.
But they qualified for art once they were part of the cultural district.
They just, they called us, they said, these are our plans, through, and their daycare and a dentistry, child dentist office. And so they work with the schools, and they have a little bit of an art program, and they, really along the way supported the arts. And so we said, yeah, of course. And then they said, we're hoping to get this sculpture, and they ended up being able to get the funding to do it. But even if they didn't get the funding, we would have still allowed them in, because like I said, nobody but us and the state is going to know exactly where that boundary ends. The idea is to get people to your city, to promote your city. And if they, go to the restaurant or the store just outside the boundary, it's still a win. There's no magic number to that. There might be somebody that you really want on the board that's, incredible at something. You're going to want to make sure that person's business or home or is in the boundary, so that, they count towards your person. So it's really looking at all of those things to make sure your district is built the way that you want it to be built. And we've had, just real quick, yeah.
Districts are supposed to be walkable, so at the same time, did you have, Torrance is a pretty geographically spread out city as well, so did you have arts and cultural venues that weren't within the defined boundary of the district that said, hey, what about us, how does this impact us? We'd really like to be part of it, but we're not part of your walkable boundary, so to speak.
So we do have kind of, I'm going to say we have most of our concentration is within our district. The majority of our arts and cultural organizations are there. We do have the 5 Point Center for the Visual Arts, which is up on University Drive. They overtook the former UConn campus. That is outside of the district, but she's still very much involved in the district. They do have a gallery as well as the center, which the gallery's in the district, but we promote the center as much as we promote anything in the district. And we also, promote art, public art outside of the district. We support artists who are not within the district. It's just, our downtown Main Street group, they had a strawberry festival in Co Park, which is part of the district. And their flyers, excuse me, they promoted businesses throughout the whole city. It wasn't just the cultural district businesses. They're just not, part of the list that we have when you look at with the assets of the cultural district.
But it's a way that the community can promote the arts and culture, and as you said, bring people in, but you can celebrate all of your arts and cultural venues wherever they may be within the town, whether they're in the district or without.
Right.
Krista, when you had your initial public meeting on Zoom, what was the attendance like?
We actually had about 25 to 30 people attend. It was bigger than I expected. But it was pretty good.
Were they mostly artists in the art community, or?
No, it was a lot of different people. So, some artists, to show support, but there was a lot of like planning and zoning commission members and politicians, and then just artists who are residents who were interested. Yep.
Other questions for Rista?
No, I'm good.
Marissa, thank you so much for.
Thank
you.
bringing us
You're
here.
so welcome. Good luck. I can't wait to come visit.
Welcome anytime.
Thank you, Rista.
Thank you. Have a good
Thank
evening.
you.
Happy Thanksgiving.
You too.
Okay, can we backtrack now? We have to do approval of minutes. So we have 2 months to do. We have the minutes from September 19th. That you should all have in front of you. Hopefully you had a chance to review them.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Okay, that's passed. Then we have the ones from October 17th. Again, hopefully you had a chance to look at them. I know,
My only question with this was because there was not a quorum, you still do,
we just do what we had. It wasn't, we didn't do any business.
We didn't take any action.
Approve the minutes.
But we did have a good conversation, so.
Right. We could talk to the meeting and that was it, but we couldn't vote on anything.
So I'll make another motion to approve the minutes.
You don't want to write in the minutes. Why are you making the motions?
Okay, am I not allowed
I'll
to?
make the
Well,
motion.
it's not a good idea for you to do.
It's probably a good idea for you not to be the one
Okay,
making the
sorry.
motion.
I will make a motion
All right.
to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor? Aye. Okay. So all the minutes have been approved. You go down to guest speaker. Next on the topic is open discussion about the art commission vision, priorities, and role. I know Matt and Lou and I were here last month and Matt and Mark, we had a pretty in-depth conversation. I don't know if you guys want to recap what we talked about, or if you guys want to.
That would be helpful.
Yeah, no, that'd be good, sure.
Well, we talked about what some of our visions were and, most of them were, I think we all kind of agreed that we wanted to increase the arts visibility in town. I happen to call it increase, the residents' arts fluency. Which just sort of makes everybody a little bit, and we all had different ideas for how to do that. I think that's what we wrote in the minutes, but we had lots of different ideas on how to do that.
Hold an open meeting together,
Yeah.
input from the community. It's on the minutes, Sam. I don't know if you had a copy of the minutes, but
I have it in front of me now.
We've kicked around before, possibility of shortly after the holidays, in the new year, having a community conversation about the arts.
Right.
I think I'm wondering now, since of what Rista said, is do we meet with Erica first before we do that, or do we have a public meeting?
Well, I think there was the way she explained it was two public engagement and outreach components, one kind of at the beginning of the process and one at the end.
Yeah.
And I think that we've already reached out to the Cultural Alliance. I mean, David Green and Erica were in attendance at our meeting and explained the process by which we can go about requesting designation for or setting up an arts and cultural district. So I think they're informed,
Okay.
they're aware of what we're trying to do. And I think by the same token, I think they're incredibly supportive of our efforts here. So I don't think that's an issue. I do think that it's an opportunity for this group to introduce itself and our broader vision as to how we can foster the arts and get feedback from the public, both the artist community and the general public, as to the role that this group can play. I mean, we'll have some thoughts ourselves as we have that conversation, but it'd be good to solicit some feedback. And as part of that, I think the Arts and Cultural District can be part of that agenda and just get some feedback from folks, maybe as Krista said, these are our proposed boundaries, if you will, what do you think type thing. And then we've kind of checked that box in terms of getting some initial feedback from folks as to it. The other thing, we do have, as Matt is aware, we have a tourism working group through our office where we engage with a number of arts and cultural venues to work together to promote our collective vision, if you will, celebrating what each of us brings to the table. So I think one of the things she mentioned, which I didn't really fully appreciate, but I think it's a good idea, is to get that group more actively engaged. And maybe we should Matt's here, but we have other folks that can come and talk to us about ways in which this group can help support them in their work. And maybe that, having them lead that effort, well, this is a coordinating group, it wouldn't be a bad idea to have,
Yeah.
make sure to check in with and make sure that an arts and cultural district is what they want, right? And that they think that would be a good thing.
I mean, there's a lot of organic overlap between the two groups, just from sitting at this table and sitting at those meetings. So I think getting together and getting on the same page would be great. John Reed talking at those and someone from different people's management, Quick Center. And sorry, I'm sort of late today. Just to round out the list from last time, I just wrote down the quote from Lula.
That's a good one.
You mentioned Fairfield Arts Pride and Fluency, just as we just talked about things that would lift up all the arts institutions. And here's just like a little laundry list of ideas that came up, and if it reminds anyone of anything else we spoke about, just popcorn it in there. But we talked about arts competitions at school, coordinated weekend activities with several different arts institutions, similar as you'd see like Fairfield Moms listing all the activities of the weekend. Like we can compile our own list and even have sort of a guided options how to navigate through this. Some visible outdoor art has come up multiple times. A town arts video trailer that includes all the organizations and branded together as Fairfield Arts. We talked about that, like a video project or an outdoor project, interactive installations. We talked about an arts passport. You have, mostly for young people to go and get it, stamped by all the different arts organizations by doing some activity. Utilizing Sherman Green as a visible space, showcase, masterclasses. Anyway, there's more, but that's some of what came up.
The economy had a very busy meeting. See what you missed? But you had a good reason. So now that you've heard what we kind of discussed, does Sam or Kevin or Connor, you guys have anything you want to add to that? Is there anything that really jumps out at you?
Just real, go ahead, Kevin, you first. Nope, you first, please. No, you may be saying things that I would like to listen to. Go ahead.
Just when we're reaching, if we kind of reach out and say, what do we want the public input on, just like, it's a very broad question, right? Is that what we want, is it?
I think my feeling is that we need to have some skin on the bones to have people react to something as opposed to just throwing it out there and say, what do you think? So I think part of it is this group kind of coalescing around a couple of ideas that we can then test out maybe through a couple of different mediums, just to check in and make sure that people think we're on the right track, or they may have some other ideas.
I think you would kind of share some best practices from other places. It's not the time where you would like go into more deep things, just like, hey, these are the other, from famous cities to Torrington, and these are the things that do it, organize it, it helps organize, drive public events, and festivals did that. And get people to weigh in on that, public art, people have strong feelings about that.
As we're just talking about this, the thought is, sometimes, how you structure these things matters, and you don't, who really wants to come to a meeting and have a presentation and say, have people come to the microphone? Maybe it's more like a fair, an arts fair, where you have an open area and you have different arts and cultural venues there, and part of it is there might be a small program as part of it, but it's an opportunity to really get to know them. I'm just thinking different ideas as opposed to just something where you're presenting something and people reacting to it, some way in which we can get people more engaged. There's different ways to do that, but
I always like that side of engagement. I think exactly right, Mark. I mean, what you want to do is get people involved. You want to have them walk around. You want to have them talk. You want to have them touch and feel, because that's going to be more informative than sit down in an audience, raise your hand, there's what to go, the microphone and all that other. So I think you're going to get more out of it. And this town is more is that type of town. So and we've seen that through the different events that we've had in town. So I like that a lot. I also would like to put on the table this idea of promoting the Fairfield Arts Council. In other words, creating something like one of the quotes that I love that I taught against was build it and they will come. And I always thought that was a fallacy. It's build it, let them know it's there and they'll come. Okay, so the idea of, no one knows there's an arts council, so one of the things that was on the table is how do we get people to engage, and how do we get to engage when they don't even know we exist? So I think that idea of letting people know who we are, creating something for our group so people know. So now when we come to them, they go, "Oh yeah, well, I've heard about you. Wait, that's familiar." And then we can start to really engage them and say, "I don't even know who you guys are." So I'd like to put that on the table.
So I feel like having been away for a month and now coming back, so it's been 2 months since I've seen everybody. I think obviously we have this idea of the designating the district, but
Right.
ultimately, because our district is really so much larger than a walkable district, is we're here to promote the arts in town. Right. So I think that needs to be our core, coming from the nonprofit space, which many of you do, we need a mission. And I think it needs to be a simple sentence, of this is our job. Yes, we're going to figure out the cultural district part of it. To me, and this is where I would, defer to the government aspect of things, but I kind of feel like we need a social media campaign, which costs nothing. And we have people that have accounts of cultural institutions. There's a way, for Black Rock Theater and for Shoe Community Theater to say, hey, go follow this account, stay tuned for, and I think that's a way to start to get our name out there, building off of this other idea that was just talked about. I think we should look at New Haven's Arts and Ideas Festival, because that's a hugely successful.
Started off, and I was there at the beginnings.
So I mean, that's something to look at. It's a huge thing that New Haven does every year. And if there was a way that we have an arts day, and maybe year one is something simple, we can maybe plan for the spring or something where we pick a Saturday and invite arts organizations. And I think people can go to the different organizations. We don't necessarily have to have it. And that way people get to see the space. And, maybe if you come, you get to a chance for a raffle for tickets to a show at the community theater or at FTC or, wherever, to start to have this promotion of.
I think that the first public forum, our goal at that is to try to get input from the community about what we do and what our mission actually might be. I think that's what Cultural Alliance and the state is looking for in order to give us the cultural designation. They want to make sure that we're not doing just what the 9 people, right, in this commission want, but that we're actually taking input from the public and processing that and saying, this is what the public wants, this is what the 9 people on the commission want, and we're going to try and do all of it.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a tough chicken or the egg thing, because I don't think the public.
Well, we gotta have the forum.
No, totally.
No, but one of the things.
But again, they have to know we exist.
Yeah.
So
No,
there's-
but yeah, we let them
there's
know
gotta
we
be a
exist.
way.
So, World Art Day is April 15th. Not the most auspicious
Tax
time.
Yeah, tax return.
And you know what?
Yeah.
It's April break for the schools,
Yeah.
so I would say not a great day.
But I was just.
Sam, you were starting to say something?
Yeah, I was saying that what Connor was talking about too is, and what we're all talking about is letting the public, engage. There's no doubt, but I don't think it's and this is just me. I don't think it's a free for all. I think it's a matter of setting up where we can go with things. So there is input, but not like, what do you think? Well, I think it should be Farts Anonymous. Again, I'm going to Parks and Rec. I don't know if anyone ever watched that, but when you open when it's too open, it becomes too much. So I think we can agree on areas that we can get developed and then go to the public and have their input for that. And I think, let me ask you this: I'm going to plead naivety, but is there? I mean, do we need to have our district sort of formulated? Should we be doing like not necessarily looking for the where the district where we have the district, and then look at that as our first launch of our first big event to, unveil the district? Is that where we should be
The
looking
state
at?
has to give us designation.
Yeah.
I
and
get that.
Yeah.
I think, Connor hit it for me, which is, I think this group has a broader mission than just an arts and cultural district. It's really about fostering the arts in Fairfield, right, writ large. And then part of that is, as a vehicle by which we create greater awareness about the arts is going through the process of designated arts cultural district. It's not that we can't promote arts and cultural venues everywhere throughout town, but it's a way of putting yourself on the map and helping that as a marketing tool to market the community as a vibrant place for arts and culture. And so I would second what Connor was saying, which is, let's think about the broader mission.
And it's not, we don't have to. I think to lose point, but I don't think we have to do one
No,
first before, right? Like,
No,
we could
okay.
say we're
No,
establishing, this
Right.
committee's been established to foster the arts.
Mhm.
Whatever our mission statement is, part of our. What we need to achieve over the next 12 months is looking at
We'd like to
establishing an
create
arts
and cultural
Okay.
district. We'd like to do some of these other things.
But in
too.
the meantime, we want you to go see a show and we want you to go to a
Yeah.
restaurant before and.
Yeah, and set up a promo around that. I think would be great to
um,
move people around to the arts. Wherever, yeah, I think we
And
can. do
I
that.
think it can be even as simple as like. Creating the marketing plan, and I'm obviously, I deal with mostly people under the age of 18, so I look at social media as the, you know what I mean, and a lot of parents are on it as well, is, launching something that says, here's this commission, here's our broad mission statement, and even if, because the whole thing with social media is you don't want to do something and then not have anything for 6 months, but to me, like an easy way would be like, each week, we're gonna highlight a different arts organization in town. And that would take us, how many weeks, right? Because we have a lot of arts happening here.
Right. I like that.
Just as a way to say, hey, we're here, and I think you would start to get engagement. You could, like I said, you could team up with these arts
Yeah,
organizations.
that also helps brand our name, our existence. I think that's a really good
So from
idea.
a government perspective, what does that look like?
So the question I have, we have Experience Fairfield. I have a person in my office that manages social media accounts. We promote arts and cultural venues already as part of our broader mission about bringing people to the town. Maybe it's as simple as creating a marketing plan around what the assets that we currently have, that with a finer focus on
Mhm.
arts and cultural as a subset of it. And maybe there's some other marketing tools that we can also leverage. Krista mentioned a video. We have some dollars in our account as part of the website launch for the town to do some video. Maybe we, do a video as part of that marketing push. But, I'm always looking to leverage, what we're currently doing and try to amplify and build on that as opposed to creating something new, especially if we don't have the resources to support it. We do have some groups, volunteer groups, Sustainable Fairfield, for example, that has a very active social media presence, or at least from my limited perspective, they're active. It's volunteer run. But that's seems to be the exception rather than the norm. So I know we have some people that are very skilled in that area on this board. But my concern would be, making sure that we have something staffed appropriately. And sometimes volunteer-led organizations are good at creating the broader framework, but not necessarily doing, because you all have your own organizations to run and volunteers, they come and go off of board. So right now we have some marketing people. So that's one possibility. We could utilize only on Facebook and Instagram for Experience Fairfield.
We also have an amazing art director. Are we allowed to have our art director create a logo or anything like that?
We sure could. Yeah.
Okay, just
Yeah.
whoever that art director is, if they could, just saying.
Who's the art director?
Oh, I thought you were volunteering or director.
Yeah, right. And I do sound. I do editing, I do video,
All
my
right,
art.
I misunderstood.
No, it's okay.
But you know, that's one possibility, but we could go the other route, which is create a whole new. I did that at one point for restaurant week, but then we didn't have, you know, wasn't to your earlier point. It's not, restaurant week comes around once or twice a year.
Yeah.
So what are you doing the rest of the year?
Right,
So
right.
arts and cultural venues, we can celebrate that throughout.
Well, I think for us, then what it does is it buys us time
Yep,
while still promoting, because if you were to do like, you know, week one is FTC. To me, it's like, that's like easy, you know, we can reach out to somebody at FTC to say, hey, can you give me 5 assets? You know, it can be a staff photo, it can be a facilities photo, it can be, here's what we have coming up this month. So yes, it would obviously require some time in terms of emailing, and some people might not have those assets, and you might have to go take a photo, which, you know.
I mean,
I'm
part of
happy to-
what you're saying too is we need to set up a calendar. I mean, so it's
Right.
not, so we
Oh,
have,
yeah.
boom, we know we're going here, we know we're going here, we know we're going here. And once we set up the calendar, we can go get the assets and put them in. And we should be able to do that because I think everyone involved right now, anyone we talk to is going to say, of course. I mean,
Yeah.
no one's going to say no to this.
And if it were something, I know, you know, obviously it is volunteer for me, but I would be happy to take on the social media aspect of, you know, actually running and posting. Because I'm on it anyway, so it's not, I think to lose point though, we really should first though decide what that mission statement is,
We need a statement.
you know, before we do that, but I do think that could be a organic next step. After coming up with that statement is, and I don't think we have to overthink it.
I agree, like it should be in plain language, it shouldn't use governmental language or confusing language like a 5th grader should.
As a friend of mine said, it should fit on a t-shirt.
well, you guys wanna just start with somewhere to work on it, or?
Well, I think we talked about, what was the term? What did we say in last? What was it?
Fluency.
Increase, right. How did it start? I can't remember. I know it was my.
I just read it as a teacher. Yeah, you could instill pride and fluency in the arts in Fairfield or. I mean, promoting the arts in Fairfield, as Connor said, that's simple also and indisputable.
I wrote that my vision for our mission is to cultivate Fairfield's arts, pride, and fluency. Let's start with that.
I feel a lot of people like it, that to me feels like a little
Too ambitious.
programmy.
Okay.
Fluency, like it just, you know, and pride is a loaded word, like so.
I was gonna say,
Okay. No, that's good to hear.
Been good and bad, but I
Good.
think it would, it's, to me, it should be, you know, I come from Save the Children. What do you do? It's in our name. So like, I like really
Right.
simple things. Feeding America. What do? They feed America. Charity water. What do? Charity water. You know, when you start doing
Okay.
other things, like people are like, what do you do? Promoting and celebrating the arts in Fairfield.
just
Okay.
Something-
to foster and promote.
Yeah, promoting and celebrating, or, yeah, and I think the more you keep adding, like, you know, commerce and businesses and people and creators, it just becomes
Why do
clunky.
we need promoting? Why can't it just be celebrating?
I think promoting is that outward, you know, driving traffic to the town. There's a commerce, there's a, you know, celebrating is different, you know, that's like,
Okay.
look at this beautiful coast. Promoting is, you gotta come here and experience, you know, the arts. You have to come to the 4th of July parade and art week.
So it's like,
You know,
the mission of the Fairfield Art Council is
promote
to
and
promote and
celebrate
celebrate the
the
arts.
arts in Fairfield.
That sounds great to me.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, that was one thing when we redid our mission statement. I had a board member who said,
Oh my God.
every one of us should be able to say the mission statement.
Yeah, easy.
Anywhere, like somebody should ask, and you should be like, this is what it is.
Yeah.
And because so many nonprofits, people are like, I could not say.
It's like a whole paragraph.
Yeah. Yeah.
Run on
When
sentence.
I got to say 2 years ago, I was like, what's our mission? And it was four paragraphs. And we got it down to, we work in the hardest to reach places where it's toughest to be a child. Everyone can remember it, everyone can talk about it, and we can go in depth and talk about a million different things we do, but that is what
Yeah.
we do.
Okay, so we have that. You want to read it again, then we take a vote on it?
Yeah,
It says the mission, I said the mission of the Fairfield Arts Council is to promote and celebrate the arts in Fairfield.
Arts Commission, aren't we?
I'm sorry.
Good catch.
I didn't write that all down. He's making it up. I can't read my abbreviation.
All in favor of that mission statement?
Yes.
Aye.
Yay, we got
Any
something.
back-
rolling.
Okay, we got that. We wanna,
Now we need a logo.
now we want to create a logo.
Work on a logo.
Are you an art director too?
I'm a
You're everything.
creative,
Okay.
mostly a writer, but. I'm an art
Kevin.
director, talented art director.
We're gonna put,
Who can clean up my work.
so, yeah, I think.
Can I have an outside source work on a logo? Am I allowed?
An outside thought?
Source,
Well,
an
sure, I mean,
artist, an artist.
Sam, what we would do is if we had a couple of logos, we just vote on
Yeah,
which
we
logo we
would-
want. You could
Yeah,
have-
no, a buddy of mine probably could do a great job, so I'll ask.
As long as it's free.
That's, yeah, no, she,
Exactly.
actually, she was the national arts commissioner for education. She works at the Uncas School.
We're
I'll
gonna
ask.
try to get a logo by the next meeting. Is that what we're looking at?
Yeah. And then,
Yeah, we should have. a couple to look at.
Kevin, you'll take a shot?
We'll have a couple look at it and,
Okay.
you know,
Sure.
brief, whatever you want it to be, but, hey, you know, I remember we're an arts
Let's
commission.
see if we reach
Gotta
out
be
to two,
social-
if we reach
It's
out
gotta be
to,
social, you know, design social first, you know, it can't be overly complex,
Right.
you know, it has to be, I feel. A modern, clear, simple,
Mhm.
you know,
Right, I was doing
thing,
that.
gotta look good in a social media post.
And not governmental looking, but a little
Yeah.
arts looking.
I'm inspired by the
Right.
Connecticut flag, one of the worst in the nation.
Promotion and celebration.
Yep, exactly. No laurel leaves.
okay,
Great.
looks like you're
Great.
down here. Anything else you want to discuss in this part?
That's- I think we got it.
No,
Did
it's
did
great.
anyone go to the Bridgeport arts walkthrough trail?
I
I
did
did
not.
And no, yeah, I did. It was amazing.
I'm
I
sure.
was very impressed by it.
Good job.
Yeah.
All right, do we have anything on the, one item, do you have anything else on the new business?
Well, we had one bit of good news. Our grant application was approved. We have $1,000 from the state of Connecticut in support of our arts mission.
I think that's terrific. Congratulations.
Hey.
That's
Oh, yes,
awesome.
those digits
$1,000
came in last week.
$1,000 to match the $1,000 that we have. So we have $2,000 that we can use to
Wow,
help foster,
whatever we say.
celebrate and promote, and celebrate. Promote,
Yeah.
celebrate.
Promote and
Great.
celebrate.
Promote, and
How-
celebrate.
Can I ask about the new administration? How is that gonna impact what?
I can't really say at the moment because I haven't really talked to Bill at any length. I mean, I've talked to him about some very time sensitive issues up front because there's some things that are happening that he needs to hop on pretty quickly, but I don't know his disposition
I would-
with regard to this, but I think he's generally supportive.
I would love to send him an invitation to our next meeting.
yeah,
Good idea.
It's gonna be busy, but.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it would be great
Yeah.
to have. You know, the
Yeah,
leader.
even if he just zooms in, I think that's a great idea. And as long as we spend our money wisely, I think he'll be happy.
well, let me just go over the new business here because it might, if that what you want to have here or not, but, yeah, so Betsy Brown sends out these to all the different commissions and committees and such every year at this time of the year. Your commission needs to meet during the month of December. Our next scheduled meeting is December 19th. It's really important we have quorum that day. If people can just come in and zoom in and vote, and then maybe if they have to go somewhere. But we have to send them, at the December meeting, we have to set the schedule for 2023. I know last time we also, but they were 23 here, she missorted. For 24, and I know we said the last meeting, oh, we'll meet every month, let's just do that. If there's some change that you want to bring that to the next meeting, if you decide you need a month off during one point of the year. If you want to take off February, so I don't know, but just, that's what we have to vote on, the meeting schedule. We also, it's the election of officers. We've all had a solid year of running for office, so.
We've only had 3 meetings.
Well, because we joined in late, but
New calendar year.
the elections of officers are always held in December. So, Yeah, it's like our terms, I think, are added on the extra 3 months, so that doesn't count as your year or 2 years,
See,
or 3
okay.
years.
How do
So-
we know who's a year, 2 years, 3 years?
They did by last name, they just did alphabetically, so, I know Sam.
Even in the
Sam's
original
ready.
paperwork.
What I'll do is, for the next meeting for the, meeting schedule, I'll also bring a roster of our current commission and terms.
Right,
Yeah, so you all know what your term is, and then I will just run the meeting schedule that we currently have through 2024, avoiding any religious or other holidays.
school vacations.
School vacations. And my suggestion would be to schedule them for all 12 months, and then if during the course of you don't want to meet in August or whatever, just cancel it. It's a lot easier than creating a special meeting, so.
Okay,
But
Okay, so
I'll bring that.
We'll have the schedule, we'll have the election of officers. And then we have to submit that, the meeting schedule, and we have to list the names and the emails such of the officers. The chair, the vice chair, and the secretary. We gotta get to by no later than January 31st, that won't be a problem. Any meetings you scheduled during the year by January 31st are considered special. If you don't, you have regular meetings. If you don't get it done by January 31st, it becomes a special meeting automatically. And then you have to post that as such. All agendas and minutes must be sent to the town clerk for posting on the town website. If your agenda is not filled, you cannot conduct business. So we have no problem with that. The agenda gets over there on time. Please reference minutes or agendas and the meeting date in the subject line. Agendas and minutes must be sent in a Word document files as attachments. And that breaks us down to what minutes are, what agendas are, special meetings, emergency meetings, executive session. I don't foresee us ever having to go to an executive session at one of these meetings, but if we do, I'll have this here and we can discuss what it entails.
I do have a question about the meetings. Are the meetings made available to the public?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are all
Yeah, all public.
online. You can.
When you see when it
actually
sends out the
view
agenda, it had the-
I've looked on YouTube and I can't find them on YouTube. I don't know if it goes to the Fair TV.
They get posted on the town's website.
Okay.
I think if you, they show up in my YouTube feed somehow. I don't know. It follows.
If you've watched one, it suggests the others.
to get them from you, Mark. I've looked for it as well to do the minutes, and the only way that I've watched is.
Well, I think with the change in maybe the change in the website, it's a little different, but what I do is, the town now has its own Zoom account, so I will eventually we'll just be on the town Zoom account, not my. The town has my personal account through the town as well, when the town didn't have a Zoom account. So I've been sending the recording to the Fair TV folks, and they post it to the website. So,
I haven't found it, but anyway,
yeah, it's there.
it's there.
But
Okay.
it is a long list of every recording, so
Yeah.
it's chronological.
Yeah.
Not by like
So,
commission.
Not by
or-
commission, so what I'm asking them to do, and what I've been told they will do, is when you go to the Arts Commission page of the website.
It
you
should
look
be
up
right
agenda
there.
minutes, we'll say agenda, minutes, video,
Yeah.
more.
That would make it so much easier.
That would be what it's supposed to do, like logically, but, you know.
And then I have it somewhere, but I don't have it here tonight. I remember reading this when we first started. There's at some point, probably beginning of next year, that we have to submit to the RTM, what is our plans are for the coming year. So what we're talking about today, that's what we have to put in a document and present to them. That's all I have under new business. Anybody else have anything other new business?
I don't think that
Well, I
precludes
think-
us from inviting Bill.
I think you probably should extend the invitation
Yeah,
now,
that's fine.
and, you know, if his schedule permits, it'd be great. If it doesn't, you know, January works just as well.
Agree, and then look, bottom line is we'll have a Zoom link for him if if he wants to take even just 3-4 minutes just to introduce himself, let's just offer him that. I think that'd be the
Good idea.
right thing to do too.
So does that mean someone's gonna invite him or?
Think, Charlie, will
Yeah,
you do
I'll
it?
reach out to him.
Yeah, Charlie should.
I'll get it done.
I was just also wondering if there's a way to like bookmark these ideas, that like the social media thing, figuring out. What account, or if there's gonna be a dedicated account, and just some of the other ideas that we can bookmark as we kind of our priorities line to make sure that we do them.
Yeah.
And Connor's talking about doing social media, so maybe when he comes back next month, you'll have some.
Well, and again, I just don't,
And what we probably should do is coordinate with Mary Alice in my
Right.
office. And I think it probably, I think it would be great if the Arts Commission had a separate branded account. I just want to make sure that we have something in place to maintain it long term. And I know we have like Make Music, we have, so Mary Alice maintains a number of social media accounts under, so it's Experience Fairfield, Choose Fairfield, Make Music Day, Fairfield Restaurant Week. We can add this to the list. It's not, and you could be posting for it, but I want to make sure we have a succession plan in place.
Yeah.
So.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, and I also like Connor's mentioning of, putting our link, our Fairfield Arts Council link, when we have other people promoting with us, FTC, when going through their database, Sacred Heart Community Theater database, and linking so people can come back to know that we exist and can come back to our site to find things.
And again, my question would be from a governmental standpoint. Like these ideas, I think Matt has a great point. If can we have a Google Drive?
Right.
Where we can collaborate on
We
it.
can collaborate. I know we run into that issue, but I do think it's hard where we meet once a month.
Yeah.
These ideas are gonna come and go.
Yeah.
When we all are.
Well, I
That's
think,
what
I think Sam had it brought up before, the
Yeah.
possibility of creating subcommittees, and I think that probably lends itself to creating a smaller subset of the group that is working on things like a marketing promotion plan.
Yeah, that's exactly what I have listed here too, and that's what I was going to promote to suggest again. Is to do the subcommittee so we can meet more often, and then we can come to the table with things rather than
I don't think it's a problem so much as, we do have to be aware of these public meeting laws, but I think we can have conversations amongst small groups, and then official actions have to come back.
Yeah, I
Right,
think
we-
it's just like the reference of ideas, just to like
yeah. No,
have
but
some of
that's
these ideas in more detail that are not in the
yes.
minutes.
It's
So
like two or
yeah.
three people that are working on something. That's
Yeah,
not.
we don't have to make decisions. That can be done from the public, but we can bring things already coordinated, already set out.
We're not allowed to share a Google.
That's what I was at.
Yeah.
I'm not.
It'd have to be available to the public too.
It's tricky.
And Google's the easiest place to hack.
We're just in a tricky situation because we're a newly formed commission, right? All the other commissions and boards they're already established.
Maybe is there someone who knows more about Google Docs that, for instance, we can do a Google Docs and permit a section where the public can talk about what we talk about without re-editing and redoing anything that we're doing. You know what I
Let me see
mean?
if I can get some, let me see if I can get some clarification.
Yeah.
on
So that way
Yeah, I
there's
would say
a
town
there's a
clerk would-
comment section, and
But
we'll read
also-
the comments.
That, would that permit some type of executive session?
No, that wouldn't really be exactly.
Well, I'm just saying, because then it's like, is there a way to, where we're just bouncing ideas, we're not taking any official
Right.
votes on things.
Right.
Obviously, it wouldn't be any votes, but you could, obviously, I agree. Come up with some ideas, but
Creating the calendar, and then we can share it in the next meeting.
Right. Yeah, look,
You
but
want
way
my
back,
minutes to be more detailed.
The
No,
reality.
I don't think they need to be.
For that.
Okay,
It's like,
okay.
This is kind of an action.
I think it's like, so if we say we're gonna do the social media campaign and we're gonna, advertise each group in town, it's like. Somebody needs to put that actually on paper of week 1 is gonna be Shoe Community
Yeah.
Theater.
Here's what I'm thinking is, you raise your hand and said, I want to take the lead on this. And then other people can assist you on that, and you can share amongst yourselves, so long as it's not a majority of the commission that constitutes a quorum. I don't see a problem with that.
So I'm happy to put together,
Marketing.
a little marketing plan. I'm not a marketer, but, I do run several social media accounts.
you got a marketer right over there.
yeah,
Right, so, but that's what I'm saying, but, we can.
Right.
Sam and I can discuss something, Kevin and I can discuss, and then we can bring it to the group,
Maybe we could have each institution before their week of feature or day of feature, they could share the account, just so each institution sharing the account, we could build it up if that's something.
But we have to bring Mary Alice in because she's going to be the manager of this, right?
Well,
No, well, not necessarily, but I think
This is on Fairfield Arts Commission's social media.
We have to
Instagram,
create.
We have to create.
We have to create it. And all I want to make sure is that she's in the loop so that we have somebody from a staff position that can help support along. in the
Right.
event that, You know, as Connor moves to Colorado.
Yeah, I mean, so, like, if I got hit by a bus, God forbid, like, we want to make sure that account lives
Oh, you
on.
just got married, stop.
We're here.
Can I get a motion to close? Connor, second.
Everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
You guys.
See you guys later.